Remember the frightening stories that artificial intelligence has come to steal your jobs, flood the internet with fake news, and outsmart you to rule the world? Well, despite these concerns, technology and artificial intelligence has wormed its way into every industry, leaving transformation in its path. And broadcast journalism is no exception as it's gone digital. Here's a peek into its history, challenges, and way forward.
It is often said that journalism brings the world closer through non-stop information. But when powered by technology, the world resides at one's fingertip. Such is the case with the broadcast journalism landscape, where digital broadcasting enables news to be shared faster, as the industry now operates with a computer mind capable of transmitting information to thousands of people at a blink. With the evolving digital broadcasting, the industry has now gone through a series of changes right from when radio was first introduced. Let's rewind to when broadcasting was first introduced in Nigeria. Its existence in Nigeria dates back to December 1932, when the British Colonial Council introduced radio broadcasting and appointed the Post and Telegraph Department to oversee the operation in Lagos, where it started broadcasting station. Then, Lagos received only ordinary BBC services transmitted through unstable shortwave called Radio Distribution System and operated as Radio Nigeria. After 1934, the station eventually devised a system that allows it to distribute the BBC news with nothing about local content. It was until 1951, when the Nigerian Broadcasting Service was launched, that one or two local items entered Nigeria's program, ending Radio Nigeria operations. For television, the Nigeria Television Authority (NTA) was not just suddenly empowered with the sole responsibility of undertaking television broadcasting in Nigeria. It came about from Western Nigeria Television, which was commissioned in 1951. Thereafter came the dawn of the internet age, unlocking social media platforms that enable live stream and real-time interaction that extend reach to wider audience beyond traditional channels' capacity. Just as an object that reflects light casts a shadow, the benefits that new technologies brought to the broadcasting industry come with dark sides, such as the spread of fake news and manipulated data. Amid the changing trajectory, raging challenges, and rapid advancement of electronic media, it is clear that broadcasting will continue to evolve and adapt to new technology and consumer preferences, and it will shape our culture, connect us in ways we never thought possible. But technology and its presence in all spheres of human activity can also be the seed waiting to destroy the very fabric that sewed the society together if it's not used responsibly.
Conversation is veteran broadcaster, career mentor Ambrose Shomide and Anike Ade Funke Treasure, an ace broadcaster and creative director of Yellow Bloom Consulting. Welcome, lady and gentlemen. Although in the press, you see gentlemen of the press. Welcome. Welcome. It's good to have you join us this morning.
So nice to be here.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
So nice to be in this environment.
Absolutely.
Quite different from the last environment. And, you know, looking at this.
Digitized.
Fully. It's like sitting in the cockpit of a plane and then seeing the world.
Absolutely, with your screens.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, this is so 21st century, turning towards 22nd century.
Of course, you should understand. You should understand that one station in Nigeria that hasn't rested on its oars with regards to moving with the changing times is TVC Communications.
You have the bragging
rights. We have
rights.
evolved.
No, you have the bragging rights. You can go ahead.
Allow us brag.
And we can also take a bow.
This is absolutely beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is one of the focus of our discussion today, how the media landscape has evolved over the years, and who better to tell us the story than you veterans? You have been in the business many years, and would like to hear from you, from your point of view, how media has evolved. Talk about television, broadcasting, radio, TV, and all the likes. Let me begin with you, Funke. You have seen how we have evolved over the years. Are we moving at the pace we should?
I think we're not doing badly. Nigerians are very aware people. Broadcasting in Nigeria, as we've seen in that video, has evolved over time, and we're not doing badly. We are positioned to continue to tap into the wealth and the depth and the richness of what technology has to offer. In fact, in Africa, I would say we're at the vanguard of utilizing technology appropriately, as we should, in broadcasting, whether radio or TV. And we've seen what skit makers have done in terms of content creation, and what legacy media is doing, positioning, reimagining the audience to start curating content. So yes, we're not doing badly. We're not doing bad, but public broadcasters, private broadcasters, or broadcasting organizations were positioning, and that's heartwarming for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mr. Shunde, let's also get your own opening salvo, on this conversation. Back in the day, if you look at the report that we had, from when we had Western Nigerian television in 1959, Nigeria has actually moved from one phase to the other. We've left analog. Well, I still see some that are actually using the analog spectrum, but then we've seen how much revolutionizing we've brought to the media. So, from your own days, on radio, television, I know growing up, I was used to watching Mini Jojo, from and black and white television to, color television, etc. How would you appraise, the journey so far in the Nigerian broadcasting media?
Well, I think, as you said, we've really gone, we've come a long way. I was reflecting with my colleagues there while we were preparing, and I was telling them, I recall the days when you sit for 4 hours to edit a 30 minutes program that you want to put on radio, because you need to cut the tape, slice it, and join it, listen again, go back, and back and back. And we moved from that to the digital era, where now you can sit before your gadget, even the smartphone, and then you can edit a 30 minutes program and you can put it on. I think we've done so well as a country, as a people, catching up with the world, and one is not surprised with what we have seen here today, going around and seeing how everything has transformed. In fact, when I was coming, I said, I doubt if there will be men or women standing behind the cameras to start moving cameras around, because everything is gone digital, robotic, artificial intelligence taking over everything. And I said, I won't be surprised here if I see...
There are some cameras that are not manned.
That are not manned. So, we're not doing badly. For radio, the same evolution and revolution taking place. Because radio has moved now from the big gadgets, the big rooms, the big to the smarter ways and means of delivering the content and then satisfying the audience. From what we used to have, where, for example, you want to go for an outside broadcast event, you have to spend about 3-4 days doing your recce with all those your big, like multi-story building equipment and gadgets to do all of that. Now everything has been simplified. Everything has become smarter. That you can even with a laptop and maybe 1 or 2 microphones, you're good to go. You're good to go for radio. You're good to go. It has even gotten so crazy that even with your small gadgets, small smartphones, you can do outside broadcast now.
Yes.
And then you have clean signals because everything has gone digital.
Right. Yeah. And you can even stay at the corner of your home to do one thing or the other. And that has also sprung up some concerns for a lot of persons, how that is also generating misinformation, disinformation, and all of it. We've seen that in the course of the last election. For instance, we've seen all sorts of things because people have access to their phones and they can do anything.
That's true.
And so they can put out anything. So how much of a concern, as much as we are positioning ourselves, how much of a concern is this matter of misinformation and disinformation in the face of we embracing digital, processes of, broadcasting and all? How is that also a major challenge for us? Because broadcasts is about educating people, informing people, holding government to account, being the third estate of the realm, being watchdogs. But here we are with this monster staring us in the face.
Well, if you look at what Mark Zuckerberg has said at the beginning of this year, saying that they're going to relax this and that, and they're going to allow certain words and all. So you begin to look at the implication of such a decision for social media integration in broadcasting.
Some say it's political.
It may be political. What is not political anyway? Even the technology we're talking about is political. Getting a cure for cancer is political. Health everywhere, there's politics. But what we're saying is it means that legacy media has to step up. In this wise, we're talking of the traditional broadcasters and radio and TV. They have to be ahead of the crowd that we have on social media, because we have bloggers who also we have online TVs as well and online radio stations. It means that we have to go beyond. We have to distinguish ourselves, given that we have the training. A lot of the people online are citizen journalists. Some of them are in it because technology has enabled them to be there. Many people are podcasters now, and they're generating content, they're generating information as well. So we in the legacy media have to now step up and continue to do content that will continually signpost facts. We have to not be under peer pressure, under pressure to contend or compete, that's the word, compete with those who are citizen journalists. We have to apply more diligence. We have to apply more of the principles of journalism to what we do. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to set us apart from citizen journalists who go with whatever they see and don't have the wherewithal to fact check and the diligence, the patience, because patience is in demand now. People don't have the patience anymore. It's like be the first to do it. And in being the first, they jettison the discipline of journalism. What you will take your time to say, oh, this is breaking, but who else is breaking it? If this organization is not talking about it, that organization is not talking about it, I have a question mark on it.
Let me still stay with you. Sorry. I love the fact that you mentioned legacy journalism have to step up. But you see, with the changing times, it seems that a lot of people are not looking in their direction. And so some of them seem to not have the revenue to catch up and do what is necessary. Because this is quite capital intensive when you're talking about being digital and ensuring that you're positioning yourself in such a way that the world sees you and reckons with you. It's a lot.
There has to be training and retraining for that positioning I talked about. And there has to be constant reimagining of the audience, as I said earlier. And in reimagining the audience, you know that you have to create stories along with your audience. You have to co-create, grow, and transform together. You have to understand that what we have now is collaborative journalism. Right. So you want to pull them in, and I'm talking about the legacy media now.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's the edge we have. And you have to train your people in fact-checking. You have to continue to update your staff on fact-checking, because when push comes to shove and you're all at the same event to cover, or you're all sourcing for the same news online, what will make the journalist, the trained journalist stand out is that discipline of verification. Which the citizen journalist perhaps is not even paying attention to. So I'm going to emphasize training and retraining in fact-checking. You see, training has gone beyond, I want to know how to say, how to enunciate on air.
That's right.
We know that already. But now, with the trends in digital broadcasting, you need to be able to fact-check photos, fact-check audio, fact-check videos. Right. Because then we're talking about deep fakes.
Absolutely.
That's another thing.
Deep fakes. So, Mr. Ambrose, I believe that there's a whole lot of issues right there that that are facing us as broadcasters. Even media owners are also complicit in one way or the other, because they are under the pressure, competing with. There's yellow journalism, what you call them citizen journalism. I know that in your mind, you're trying to separate those that are professional from those that are not professional.
Yes.
So that calls to question the ethical, to question the ethical concerns, as to what are we supposed to do to ensure that, yes, while we need to ensure that our bottom line is very rich and fat, at the same time we are competing with others who will just mount their laptop and then get in front of the screen, in fact, using AI to generate the face and all of that, and dishing out, clickbaits, some misleading information, just like you discussed there, deep fakes and fake news and all of that. How do you think we need to also ensure that we do the right thing? Because media owners are also complicit by bringing people who do not even have, requisite knowledge as to what it takes to be a broadcaster.
Well, it's about investment. It's not. You should not stop at investing in the gadgets, investing and transforming the environment, transforming, for example, you get into the kitchen to prepare a very nice dish. You're concerned about the dish really that you're using. It's serving the dishes.
Yeah.
You also need to invest in what goes into that, all of that. You cannot just invest in gadgets, invest in all of these digital things without investing in the operatives. And if we need to expand this discussion a little bit, because I think we are just focusing on journalism and all of that. We're not only dealing with that aspect of the content, we're also dealing with the entertainment content of what we do. Because you see now that on the social media and all the other platforms, what you think the traditional media, the legacy media, as you called it, serve, and you think people will sit down to watch for 15, 20 minutes, some of these young lads out there are capturing some of those things in smaller forms, and they're dishing it out.
That's right.
So entertainment is no more as it used to be. Drama is no more as it was.
Everything now demystified.
Yeah. So as broadcasters, we also need to look at that aspect. How are we living up to that challenge? In the 80s and early 90s, owners were investing in production of original contents to serve the public, to gain audience, and all of that. But now, how much are we investing? in creating original content? Or do we just import original content and then push it out in an environment where you have the Google of this world serving content on YouTube and other platform? You have, for radio, you say, okay, you want people, music drives the audience, you think. So you want to play music, but now you have all the digital platforms on the mobile devices that are serving music on the go. And then those apps on those digital platforms and mobile devices, people have radio stations. They create radio stations. You can even sit down and create your own radio stations, and will suggest the kind of music you want to listen to in the morning. So it's a big problem for media owners to compete in that kind of environment.
Also looking to generate funds.
Yeah, you're looking to generate funds.
And the advertisers are saying, what are your numbers?
What are your numbers? The analytics saying different things. You were saying different things. The advertiser say, okay, I'd rather put this on this than come to you. So we have a big problem on our hands. Digital, good, brilliant, fine. But are we really ready? Are we investing? What is the environment like? What support are we getting as media owners? This is brilliant, but it needs to generate.
Absolutely.
To continue to survive and continue to meet up.
That's right.
If you're continuing on the global stage, you cannot remain here.
That's
you have to be better.
It's capital intensive.
Yeah.
So let me jump in to support what Ambrose is saying. And you've spot on. You're looking at reimagining content. Content is not just reading the news, like it's news time, you're reading the news. People want something, people want engagement. That's why I said reimagining the audience, co-creating along with them, growing along with them, and transforming along with them. They want to be seen, they want to be valued, they want to be empowered in the content that you're creating. So what is going on now is that we need to start creating intimate spaces where the audience can come into and be part of what you're creating.
Is that what you're doing with your program? I know you have a program. You also create content in collaboration with some other persons. Yes.
This is personalized content now. When you talk of podcasts, they're content on demand. So you can go, whatever it is you want, you go and access it and have your fill.
That's right.
So that's why you have podcasts all over the place. But then, even with podcasts, you've asked, is that what I'm doing? Yes, because we then bring in people who really want to talk about what you're doing. In legacy media, you hardly find people talking about menstrual health, in diving deeper. On the surface, yes, but diving deeper to unearth the stories that people want to share. You hardly find that. I haven't found any so far. So people then come, you empower them, you give voice, you give them the opportunity to give voices to their experiences. And so they come alive and they want to continue with you. They feel empowered. That's what people want. You go to the places like Ajegule.
Right.
What is it that you people want to talk about? Not what you want to talk about. It is what the people want to identify with. What is it? What is touching them? The core of them.
Giving them a platform.
Give them the platform. So the time is past where editorial meetings should be about what we want. It's about what the people want. Because that's how they buy into what you do, and they co-own the vision with you. So times have changed, just as Ambrose said. It's no longer when Radio Nigeria was the only radio station and you could do whatever you wanted to do. Now in Lagos we have how many radio stations now? Maybe tending towards 80.
Yeah, I used to know of 60 plus.
Just 60 plus.
So you can imagine what digital media has done. Digital technology has done.
It's even gone beyond that, because on your mobile devices, you can listen to radio stations from across the globe.
Absolutely.
Radio garden.
You can shut out Nigeria, shut out Lagos, and be in another planet entirely, and you're listening to this. So, and that's a chunk of the audience that's gone, listening to stations from across the world. And so, for us as media owners and media practitioners, the fragmentation of the audience is something we need to really, really be worried about. Because, okay, you think you are broadcasting, but who is really listening to this?
Content,
and how do you quantify that? And for that to be transformed into advertising for you, that forms your base. Because if you don't have that, then how do you proceed going forward?
There's something you mentioned earlier that I want to perhaps, I need you to expatiate on, which has to do with support. Are you talking about government funding, or what are you saying in particular?
Yeah, not the government funding, making the environment, you know, conducive for us to practice.
So the environment isn't conducive as it is?
It is not. It is not. This is a city on its own. Right. And when we got down from the car, the gentleman was telling us, "Oh, this is a world on its own. Our own electricity is not based on the, what do you call it now?
Band A.
It's not Band A. It's just something that okay, the national grid, breaking down and all of that. We were doing a planning, you know, review of last year, just a few hours ago before we came here, and we look at what we have spent in electricity, diesel, to power the generator to keep the stations going. It's taken about 32% of whatever we have spent.
Wow.
Who can run a business like that and survive in this environment? And that's why most radio stations are dead. Check it. Go and check. So how do we survive? Right. What should the government be doing for us? How can they? Oh, okay, go and look at alternative energy. It needs money. Absolutely. It needs investment. You go to the bank and they're telling you, okay, this is what we want to do. 31%.
As per what the government can do, for instance, I get the NBCs. For instance, there is this recent approval of 10 billion naira by President Bola Tinubu, you know, grant to the National Broadcasting Commission to support the digital switch over. But there have been concerns about sufficiency management of these funds. So government is coming in one way or the other. We see what the government is also trying to do with NTA, you know, to some extent, but there are still concerns as to how these funds are being utilized and all of that. So if government is doing that for the government parastatals, how much more? What about the private sector, the privately owned one? How should they come together to collaborate to ensure that yes, there is seamless operation and the environment is made conducive, just like you said?
Or can they take advantage of grants? I know you have taken advantage of grants, something like that.
Yeah. Yes. I was
Grant is good.
But you see, the thing is, you remember after COVID, most nations gave, what is it called? There's a word.
Is it palliative? Palliative?
Yeah. Not even palliative. They get some sort of grants that you give people to take off again. I don't think any media organization in Nigeria got that from the government. So the media, the media environment in terms of business is harsh. The business environment for the media, yes, that's how I should couch it, is harsh. Just as Ambrose said, getting fuel, diesel, to power operations alone is a lot of money. And then having to deal with staffing, this training and retraining the way. So it's capital intensive, which is the edge that these younger people, those operating online TV and online radio stations have ahead of legacy media. It's a very difficult conversation to have, and we need to bring in the government to look at how the business environment for media can be cushioned.
Yeah, I think at the last meeting in Benin, we came up as broadcasting organizations from Nigeria. We come up with a list of requests from the government as to how they can help the industry grow, going by the number of people that this industry is employing. If you don't want those people to be thrown into the unemployment market, you need to do something about helping the industry to grow,
unfortunately,
to be sustainable.
Our time is up. There's so much to say with regards to this issue. I was also going to look at the matter of how this is also impacting the matter of trust, holding government accountable, because some other persons might just want to tend towards a particular person, politician, saying, this is where my bread comes from. So I cannot say certain things and I cannot hold them to account. But we cannot go in that direction right now because we need to hand it over to our Abuja studio. But we must thank you, Funke Treasure and Ade, for your time, as well as Ambrose Shomidi. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, we will now link up with Eshomo Moimodu and Tijesu Aderi in our Abuja studio. Good morning, Eshomo, Tijesu. How are you guys doing this morning?